Hi everybody! I wanted to follow up on some things I said in my Chapter 17 video. For a long time now, I've maintained that Paladin Jakob isn't all that special, and that Silas can do basically everything that he can, but for free. I've also said that Corrin is very good in his base class and isn't desperate for a heart seal, and that overall I prefer Elise as the recipient of the very first one in the game. I figure it's high time to back that up. This is the first part of a mini-series where I clear Chapters 7, 8, and 9 of Conquest on Lunatic difficulty at or near LTC pace. Those are the 3 chapters before Camilla arrives, and after Chapter 10 you can switch to Camilla-based strategies for the rest of a low turn count campaign. Notably, I'm not doing Mozu's Paralog before Chapter 9. That makes it possible to just skip it, or to bring Haitaka's Heart Seal there for Mozu's sake. For the record, I don't actually like LTC style, and I don't think it's the best or most optimal way to play. This isn't my guide on how you should beat the first few chapters of Conquest. It's just my attempt to show that there's a totally different style of play available to you even in the most stringent settings. I'm also not trying to prove that Jakob sucks or anything like that. He's a good unit. I just think the community has always had a distorted idea of how significant he is, simply because the way to use him as a paladin translates directly from the mechanics in Awakening. In Chapter 7, you start with only 2 units, Corrin and the Servant of the Opposite Sex. I've got male Corrin and Felicia. They're a little bit higher level than what you'd have on an actual LTC run, because I just started from Branch of Fate and didn't bother rerunning the chapters before the route split, but it doesn't make that much of a difference. Both of them have their average stats for their levels. Felicia already has Live to Serve, which is useful, but it doesn't do anything here that an HP and Defense Tonic couldn't do instead. It's a similar story with Corrin. He had a Speed boon and Luck Bane at the beginning, but I used Branch of Fate to change him to Magic boon at level 8. His HP and Defense happened to work out perfectly for my clear, but you can adjust those with Tonics as well. The most important stat on Corrin is having at least 11 Magic, so I've given him a Magic Tonic. Felicia needed a boost in Strength as well. I've also made several preparations on behalf of the units who joined during this chapter. I built the Armory and Staff Shop and bought a Heart Seal plus a Bronze Axe for Elise. You can't normally build both shops yet, but it's trivial to go online and visit other castles for the 1 extra Dragon Vein point, or a Street Pass yourself or a friend with another 3DS, or just cut out the tedium by editing your save to give yourself 99 of every resource, which is what I did. In addition to Elise's equipment and the 2 tonics I've already used, I'm bringing 2 more Strength tonics. In total I spent 3,100 gold. You start with 3,000, but if you hold on to the Goddess icon from Chapter 4, you can sell that for another 1,000 to give yourself a nice cushion. I also want to mention that I'm running several cosmetic mods, including the Fates Icon project to give every item a unique icon, and the last version of the original promotion textures pack made by Giannis G and MathCat7, with some custom edits of my own. Links are in the description. That's it for prep, so let's get started. To begin with, I'm going to go west and kill the 2 Faceless across the bridge on enemy phase. With Felicia's support, Corrin is fast and strong enough to one-round both of them. By the way, I'm leaving combat animations on so that you can see the combat forecast on enemy phase.
Shall we?
It's important for Corrin not to dodge either attack, which actually makes things harder with Jakob. The Separate command lets me put Corrin in an advantageous position for next turn. Elise and Silas show up, but before I get to them, I'm making Felicia chip down the nearby Faceless. She's going to need enough total bulk in this chapter to survive a single attack, plus 2 bouts of Grisly Wound. Live to Serve undoes some of the Grisly Wound damage. Luckily, Corrin's critical hit makes 0 difference. The reason why I needed Corrin not to dodge anything on turn 1 was so that he'd be at low HP now. Silas's personal skill, Vow of Friendship, gives him a massive buff of 3 points to both offense and defense when Corrin is weakened.
Whoa! Whoa! Whoa!
After that, Elise is free to grab her gear from the convoy. She trades in her staves for the Bronze Axe, the Heart Seal, and both Strength tonics. Then she trades in her icky Troubadour bases for her workable Wyvern Rider ones. Elise's physical stats are surprisingly decent, it's just that Troubadour has 0 strength and 1 defense. Her strength growth is still pretty sad at a mere 20%. However, strength plus 2 in just 1 level, some tonic support, and a forged Bronze Axe can carry her all the way to the Bolt Axe at the second shop. With his Dragonstone, backed by Vow of Friendship Silas and Attack Stance, Corrin can one-round the incoming Faceless. The key distinction between Silas and Paladin Jakob as units is that Jakob usually has a lead in speed, but Vow of Friendship makes Silas both stronger and tougher, and that makes Silas a lot better in Attack Stance. On this particular map, Silas doesn't yet have the benefit of Corrin's supportive skill the way that Jakob would, but he also has elbow room immediately, whereas Jakob needs to level up for it. Corrin and Silas are going to go south toward the boss. I'm going to set them up in Attack Stance again. Only one Faceless can reach either of them, and since that enemy sees that Corrin would one-round him, he chooses to attack Silas. Effie hitches a ride into enemy range with Elise, then takes one of the strength tonics and uses it. Effie now has 15 strength, 6 more than the 9 strength of the unpaired Faceless. Her personal skill makes her deal 3 more damage as she has at least 5 more strength than her target, and this tonic puts her over that threshold. This strategy relies on Felicia's Demoiselle skill to keep Arthur alive. If you have Jakob, you can bring a defense tonic for Arthur to use, and that'll make up the difference.
Let's do this! Wait for me!
We won't give up. This is my chance.
Corrin and Elise both missed dual strikes, but they don't matter. I'm trying to make Silas use his lance whenever possible. He wants D lance rank for javelin access. Corrin rolls right along to get the next kill. He and Silas can now get inside the boss's range next turn.
It's not over yet.
Attack Stance gives you these built-in redundancies where you can sometimes miss one attack and still get the kill. It's a huge help when you're running 2 low-level axe units. Elise's own strength tonic increases reliability quite a bit, although it's not strictly necessary.
I'll do my best. Check out my skills!
With her tonic and the effect of Elise's personal skill, Effie has enough power to 2-round the lead Faceless here by herself. Elise's amazing personal skill is one of the biggest reasons to make her a real combat unit right away. Lily's Poise causes adjacent units to deal 1 more and take 3 less damage. It's a huge buff to Attack Stance in particular, because it solves a lot of Attack Stance's durability concerns. But if she's a Troubadour, it's sort of difficult to put it to work. Elise can't participate in Attack Stance herself, and she's really frail, so you have to be very careful with her positioning. Effie has to gain strength here. Fortunately, she has a 60% personal strength growth, and the Knight class gives her another 20. Together with her tonic, that 1 extra point is enough to activate Puissance against the paired up Faceless as well. Arthur must hit with his hand axe at 76 listed hit, but it's okay if Effie misses with her lance. Effie's dual strike did 9 damage, so if she had missed, the Faceless would have been left with 14 HP. Right now, Elise and Arthur can deal 13 damage together, but if she switches Arthur to his Iron Axe, they do 8 plus 6, exactly 14.
In the name of justice!
Corrin and Silas are going to fight the boss and his minion using Attack Stance once again. By trading around the Vulnerary, the 2 of them can heal up. The boss will move first and attack Corrin, so Silas will regain Vow of Friendship before the other Faceless fights him.
Let's do this!
at him!
We can do this together. I'm here for you. Yes. We won't give up. Need a hand?
Puissance gives Effie enough power to kill the lead faceless.
Good.
Now Arthur and Elise will be able to kill the second faceless just like they did on the previous turn.
It's alright. It's not over yet.
Evil shall not prevail.
I'm just too much for ya.
I would love it if I could feed the boss kill to Silas, but unfortunately the geography just doesn't work out.
Everything will be fine.
Corrin gets Dragon Fang, a skill that I will immediately remove. For most of the game it amounts to a small chance to get a surprise kill, which may or may not be a good thing. It often isn't.
I believe you. It's over.
After Grizzly Wound, Arthur is left with 13 HP. He has 9 defense at base, boosted to 14 by Lily's Poise and Demoiselle. The Faceless have 19 attack, and they double him, so the 2 Faceless in attack stance deal 5 times 2, plus 5 divided by 2, rounded down, which is 12. Arthur lives with 1 HP.
Strength is everything!
Elise gains her first level and gets strength plus 2. Effie sets up in the woods above Elise, passing Arthur back to her. Felicia chips the other Faceless so that it will die on enemy phase. This is the only reason Felicia needed extra strength.
Knock it off!
Effie's going to fight both Faceless coming from the north. She has 27 attack with Puissance and Lily's Poise, and thanks to Arthur's parrot bonuses, Elise has 22 as Effie's attack stance partner. Against the Faceless' 8 defense, they hit for 19 plus 7, one more than the kill threshold. So that's why Elise's strength tonic wasn't strictly necessary. As long as she hits enough of her dual strikes, she levels up and earns strength plus 2 just in time.
Be careful! Not over yet!
Thank you very much.
This is one of the few maps in Conquest where enemies are programmed to attack people even when they hit for 0, so the 2 remaining Faceless both attack Effie and die.
Thank you!
Check out my skills. Hold on to that.
So that's chapter 7 in 8 turns. Compared to Paladin Jakob's strategies, I surrender just 1 turn here, but instant marriage between Dragon Talent Corrin and the first servant is faster still because of immediate Malig Knight access. In 8 and 9 I'll be able to match LTC pace exactly.